One Piece, chapter 965. So this was like an amazing chapter. It's just so cool to get to see these legends do stuff in these flashbacks. Like just seeing what like the Whitebeard's crew was like and them like running away from the Navy and just interacting in general. And then just finally seeing Roger at the end. It was amazing. Just that one panel. That's all we really needed. That's how Oden does things. He just drops one massive panel and that's all we really need. And we're just set for the whole entire chapter itself. But let's get into it because there's a few things that we need to talk about. So we're seeing that Momonosuke was born on Whitebeard's ship, and I think that's pretty interesting. And it's also revealed that Oden had a bounty. That's something that I never really took into consideration, but like it was always like something that was going to be a thing because, you know, he is a Yonko commander after all, which is established in this chapter that he is indeed the mythical 2nd Division commander that was eventually filled by Ace. We all kind of connected the dots and knew that that was going to happen, but it's just nice to get some clarifications here. But as for like what his bounty would be, well, I mean, it's really difficult to say if the world government exactly knows how dangerous Oden is to make like an accurate estimate on him. But if we're just like equating like his quote-unquote power level to the bounty, I know that triggers some people, but I mean, he's definitely north of 1 billion. I mean, just given how he clashed with friggin' Whitebeard, we all kind of realized then and there how truly powerful he was. And also that he's like a legitimate Yonko commander at this point. I mean, he's got to be north of 1 billion. So another big reveal we're getting in this chapter is the moment that Blackbeard joined Whitebeard's crew. And another thing that's just thrown on top of that is the confirmation that he is an orphan. And I'm pretty sure this is the first time we're finding this out. We kind of like, you know, guessed based on that flashback childhood picture that Oda drew of him, like looking up at the moon. We kind of just assumed that he was an orphan. And also, given that Whitebeard always takes in orphans and whatnot, it made sense. But I think this is more pushing towards the theory that he is in fact Rox's son, you know, because he's 40 and that's like lining up with the timeline of Rox getting taken out. He is a D just like Rox, and then the name of his ship is the Saber of Zebek. So I guess at this point it's all but just needs confirmation that he is in fact Rox's son. And he's also, I think pretty much by this time has already read like the devil fruit stuff and researched all of the stuff, so he's already in pursuit of trying to get the Yami Yami no Mi, because that's what he said. He said he only joined Whitebeard's crew for a better method of gaining that. So I guess like even at this young age he was already in pursuit of becoming the Pirate King, or just becoming all powerful essentially. So now let's go into this whole quote-unquote granny witch Orochi revelation portion of this chapter. So this is extremely interesting, and if we read between the lines we might be able to figure out way more than what is on the surface here. So first of all, it is obviously in the translator's notes that she has the same fruit that we saw from Bon Clay, aka Mr. 2. So that's super interesting, and I guess that means that she eventually dies, considering that he gets the fruit. And it's definitely not her being, you know, Bon Clay in the future. So how does she get taken out? I assume that it's Orochi that does it, you know, just clearing up, you know, loose ends and him not really needing her anymore once he becomes Shogun, or maybe it's even before that. But I think there's like a 97% chance that Orochi takes her out. So her real identity is not revealed, but it's either like she's a part of the Kurozumi clan, maybe she's like his grandmother or something, or she's like a part of the world government or something, like a CP, maybe she's tied to them, possibly CP0, something like that possibly, or just some outside influence that is purposely targeting Orochi. Because like the specific instructions that she gives them is that like begin hoarding as much gold as you can and start manufacturing weapons. The quality of Wano's craftsmanship is exceptional. If you make good use of that advantage, you will be able to get some big players to back your cause. So I think that's super interesting because that's like her main incentive here. And we see that later on, the big players that are backing the cause present day are CP0. Like they give them a warship in exchange for the weapons. The world government obviously wants these weapons. So maybe this could be like a Mother Caramel type thing with her. But also the whole thing where she like becomes Sukiyaki and then tricks everyone. It's literally the same plot line that we saw back in Alabasta with Cobra and Mr. 2 and Crocodile. And rather than this just being a recycled storyline, I would like to think that Oda is probably using this as like the predecessor to Crocodile's original plan. Like maybe Crocodile heard of this, like it was like, oh, that's pretty interesting how that all happened, I'm gonna do that. And then he searched out for the person who had this fruit in Bon Clay and then used him for his plan. I think that's plausible, right? But also another super interesting thing is the people that she shows that she has become already. And she's also already said that she has been outside of Wano and has had a whole bunch of trouble and whatnot. But the first person that she becomes is like this beautiful younger lady. Now this person looks very similar to the young version that we saw of Shinobu. So maybe it's her, maybe it's not, but I think this might be her, which might be indicating that Shinobu is in fact the traitor. Meaning that this goes all the way back like to this time, like this whole big coup with Orochi. It's so prevalent to this day. So we know that Shinobu was originally part of like the Fukurokuju stuff, and that Fukurokuju was also a traitor to the Kozukis once Orochi came to power. So maybe this goes all the way back to him. Maybe Fukurokuju or whoever trained him or whatever is like the Strusen or the treble of this arc. Like it was all orchestrated so that Orochi can be the face of power, so that they can all get to the point of where they want to be. Now, another thing is that she becomes young Shiki. Now, we know this is young Shiki because it has the same exact eyebrows, and this is more or less his face. I don't think we ever really see what young Shiki looks like. This might be the first time, but that's definitely him. So, it's possible that she might have been with Rock's crew or something like that, and then after it disbanded, she came back to Wano, possibly. But another thing is that we're seeing how he gets the Yamato no Mi, the mythical serpent fruit that he has. I didn't think this was going to happen this way. I thought Kaido was going to give it to him or something. I don't know, because he always has like fruits like that. He always rolls with Zoans. But this is cool, and another reason why I think she might have been with Rocks or somebody like that, because they're the type of crews that are only getting these outrageously powerful fruits. Another thing that we're seeing is Marco. By the time we get to the end of the chapter, we see that he already has the Phoenix fruit at that point. So somewhere in between this time, I guess he's got it. I mean, this is the first time we're seeing it, so maybe he didn't have it originally, like when the flashback started. But maybe she was with Rocks, maybe not. So then Whitebeard's ship approaches this island, and we see like all these fish just running away from it and all these animals. And it turns out because Roger's there with his crew, and we can assume that he's definitely the cause of them running away. And we're just seeing like Roger and his crew, like this is like the first time we've seen them like this. Definitely the most intimidating Roger has ever looked. I mean, we're finally starting to see like a glimpse of his strength. I mean, him just holding somebody like that with the shirt open and his body on flare. I mean, it's pretty awesome. So we're also seeing like more of his crew. There's like a fisherman there. We're seeing like another dude in the back that we haven't seen before. So he notices that Whitebeard has landed on the island as well, and then he's pretty much saying that he's going to go fight him because screw it, this may be their final encountering each other. And according to the timelines, this is more or less 2 years before Rogers is executed. So another thing that's going to be happening here is we might see the first time that Shanks and Blackbeard meet each other. And I don't think that Shanks is going to get his scar here, that Blackbeard gave him, because if we go back to chapter 958, when we see the flashback of Oden on Roger's ship, like after he's already joined his crew, Shanks doesn't have the scar then. So I guess he gets it later on, possibly, unless Oda just forgot to draw it, but I doubt it. He rarely makes continuity errors like that. But so what's going to happen in the next chapter? Well, I just hope that we at least get a clash between Roger and Whitebeard. That's all I want. Just like a Big Mom and Kaido clash. That's more than enough. Because it would really be mean if Oda just skips over this entirely, considering that he's setting it up here. But anything can happen. But what is definitely going to happen is that Oden is going to join Roger's crew at this point. Because like if we go back to 958, it's going to line up with that. So why does he join Roger's crew? Well, I assume that because they're going to clash or something, and then he's going to see how ridiculously powerful Roger is, and he's going to be like, hey, let me just join you. And also, we saw, earlier in the chapter, he didn't want to be the 2nd Division commander. It's like too much responsibility. He doesn't want that. He just wants to be adventurous and doing whatever he wants, essentially. So that's another reason why he's going to be joining Roger, because he could just do whatever he wants with Roger. He doesn't have to worry about being a division commander with him. But I also think, hopefully, it plays into Roger's display of power, or there could be like a Davy back fight, something like that. And then that could be something that Oden does to subvert the fight. But man, I just hope we get a clash with these guys. But that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Let me know what you thought about this chapter. It was incredible. Where do you see things headed? Let me know. And if you like the review, please give it a like. And I also have a Patreon. It gives you access to a weekly Q&A. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.